Lena had always been the kind of woman who noticed things. Subtle shifts, the kind that slipped past most people. A glance held a second too long, the slight tension in a smile, or the way someone's voice faltered when they lied. She didn't consider herself paranoid, just aware. She noticed when Daniel began changing. At first, it was small things. His shirts smelled different, stronger colognes, unfamiliar ones. His routines were suddenly unpredictable. Dinners skipped. Weekends away. Late night calls he brushed off as client emergencies. But Lena knew Daniel. Knew the way he used to hold her when he came home, how his voice softened when he was honest. She hadn't felt that softness in months. The lipstick stain was the final nudge. Ruby Rush. That was the color. Not hers. Lena hadn't worn lipstick in weeks, let alone red. She stared at the smear on his white collar like it was a bloodstain. He made up a story, of course, something about a coworker getting tipsy at a work function, hugging everyone goodbye. He laughed when he said it. She smiled too. But her fingers curled tighter around her wine glass. That night, after Daniel fell asleep, Lena opened her laptop. A few clicks. A few online orders. By the following week, their home was discreetly wired with cameras, tiny, silent observers hidden in vents, smoke detectors, even the base of a picture frame. She told him it was for safety. He didn't question it. Why would he? He thought she was still blind. But the cameras didn't just record video. They recorded sound. Days passed. Then weeks. She didn't watch the footage obsessively. She waited, biding her time, letting Daniel hang himself with his own rope. And then, on a Thursday afternoon, she opened the folder marked, Living Room Cam 3 inches and played the file with the timestamp 3:17 p.m. There he was. Daniel. Shirt half unbuttoned, his laughter low and flirtatious. And there, entering the frame with a casual confidence, was Sophie Carter. Just a friend, from his gym. The same woman who had once stood in their kitchen and complimented Lena's marble countertops like they were bonded over style and class. Lena didn't cry, didn't scream. She just watched, her body still as stone as Sophie climbed into Daniel's lap, her fingers tangled in his hair, her voice a purr. The audio captured everything, every moan, every lie, every sigh. She took screenshots, clipped the video. She emailed a copy to herself with the subject line, "For when he lies to my face." Then she went to work. Sophie's Instagram account was public. Painfully public. Lena scrolled through a curated life of pastel aesthetics and cropped gym selfies. Sophie was the kind of woman who captioned everything with things like grateful or good vibes only. Lena felt none of those things as she dug deeper. Until she saw it. 2 weeks earlier, Sophie at a beachside bar, laughing into a frozen margarita. The sun glinting off a delicate diamond tennis bracelet. Lena stared at it for a long time. She remembered standing with Daniel outside a jewelry store downtown. Remembered pointing at that same bracelet and laughing softly, saying, "Not that I need it, but damn, that one's beautiful." Daniel had looked at the price tag and said, "Too expensive." Lena had believed him. She didn't text him that night. She didn't say a word. She simply reached out to someone else. Someone who had been quietly liking Sophie's posts from a shadow account. Liam Carter, Sophie's fiance. He was harder to track down. His social media was mostly private, his profile picture a mountain trail and a dog. But Lena was patient. She found a shared wedding website. A registry. An invitation date. 32 days away. She stared at it, her pulse steady. Then she clicked, contact host, and typed a message. "We need to talk. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to stop you from getting hurt worse." She included the video clip. The reply came 3 hours later. One sentence. "Where can we meet?" They met at a coffee shop the next day. Liam looked exactly as his few online photos suggested, tall, quiet, the kind of man who probably believed in second chances. His hands trembled when he pressed play on the video. She let him watch it all the way through. When it ended, his expression was blank. "I gave her that bracelet," he said, voice flat. "My grandmother's." Lena looked down at her coffee. "I'm sorry." "No," Liam said. "I'm sorry. That I didn't see it." They sat in silence. Outside, the world went on, horns honking, people rushing past with lattes and laughter. But inside, two strangers sat with a shared wound. I want to do something, Liam said eventually. Not something stupid. Just something that makes them regret thinking we'd stay quiet. Lena's eyes met his. Let's ruin them, she said. They didn't become friends, Lena and Liam, but they became something sharper, more dangerous, allies. There was no warmth between them, only understanding. Only a shared sense of betrayal and the need to dismantle the illusion both Sophie and Daniel had built so carelessly. Liam wasn't dramatic. He was precise. A civil engineer by trade, with the kind of analytical mind that could spot a fault line before it cracked. He treated this like any other project, quiet, methodical, inevitable. The first thing they did was gather more evidence. Lena gave him access to the other videos, all neatly archived. Liam, in return, sent screenshots of Sophie's texts, those that lingered in his iCloud backup even after she'd deleted them from his phone. One read, "He doesn't even kiss me like Daniel does. God, I miss that man already." Another, "I'm going to pretend to love this stupid venue walkthrough, lol. Wish me luck." Liam hadn't read those before. His face remained still, except for the tight clench of his jaw. "You sure you want to keep looking?" Lena asked quietly. He nodded. "I'd rather be disgusted than blind." Lena understood. They planned the reveal like a heist. A timeline, a location, even the music. The perfect place? The couple's engagement dinner party, scheduled a week from now, held at Sophie's father's lake house, an upscale event with catered hors d'oeuvres, a live jazz band, and matching custom cupcakes. Liam had RSVP'd months ago. Lena, of course, wasn't invited. But that didn't matter. Lena called in a favor from a friend in events. She got herself listed under entertainment photographer. Sophie's family had no idea who she was. She'd dress in black, her camera slung across her shoulder like armor. No one would question her presence. Liam would give the signal. The night arrived with the scent of pine and lake water drifting through the open patio. White lanterns swayed above the guests. Everyone was dressed in pastel and champagne colors, sipping rosé and speaking in low, polite voices. Daniel stood near the drinks table, grinning, a hand possessively resting on Sophie's lower back. He looked smug, like a man who believed he'd gotten away with it. Sophie looked radiant. Her satin slip dress shimmered in the fading light, her hair pulled back in a soft bun, diamond studs glittering in her ears. Lena moved silently between groups, pretending to snap photos of old ladies in pearls and young couples with perfect teeth. No one looked twice at her. She caught Daniel's eyes once across the lawn. He squinted, trying to place her, but then shrugged and looked away. Liam was already inside, making final checks on the tech. At exactly 7:03 p.m., as the live band paused for a champagne toast, Sophie's father tapped his glass and asked for attention. "I'd like to propose a toast," he began, smiling warmly. "To my beautiful daughter, and her lucky fiance." Soft laughter. Clinks of glasses. Daniel pulled Sophie close and kissed her temple. Then the screen behind the band, intended to show a slideshow of their engagement photos, flickered. The first image appeared. It was Daniel. On Lena's couch. His mouth pressed to Sophie's neck. People gasped. Sophie froze. Daniel stepped back like the screen had physically struck him. The footage rolled, silent and damning. Scene after scene. Different days. Different angles. Sophie laughing, tossing her hair back. Daniel gripping her waist. And then, the audio. Lena's voice cut through the silence like a knife. "Tell me again how it was just coffee, Daniel." More gasps. Someone dropped a glass. It shattered on the patio floor. Sophie's mother covered her mouth. Lena walked forward, slowly, deliberately, no longer hiding behind her camera. She wore black silk and red lipstick, Ruby Rush. Sophie's eyes widened. "You," she whispered. "What are you doing here?" Lena didn't answer her. She turned to Daniel. "I told you not to lie to my face," she said, her voice calm. "So I figured I'd return the favor." Daniel looked at Liam, betrayal flooding his expression. "You set me up?" "No," Liam said, stepping forward. "You set yourself up. I just hit play." Sophie reached for Liam's arm. "Babe, I..." He stepped back. "Don't call me that. Not anymore." There was a pause, heavy and breathless. Every eye was on them. Even the band had stopped pretending to tune their instruments. Daniel opened his mouth, then closed it. His face turned a violent shade of red. "You're insane," he muttered, pointing at Lena. "You planned this. You're smart?" Lena offered, tilting her head. "Prepared? Not as dumb as you thought I was?" "You ruined our lives," Sophie hissed. Lena smiled. "No, sweetheart. You ruined your own life. I just made sure everyone got to watch." Liam cleared his throat. "I'll be sending your family the invoice for the venue. Split it however you want, between each other or your lies." Then he reached into his jacket, pulled out a small white box, and tossed it gently to Sophie. She caught it, confused. It was her engagement ring. Inside was a note in Liam's handwriting. "Sell this. Maybe it'll pay for a better excuse next time." With that, he walked off the patio and into the night. Lena followed. No one tried to stop them. They didn't speak for a while after leaving the engagement party. The car ride was silent, just the low hum of the tires on the road, and the occasional vibration of Liam's phone from incoming calls he didn't answer. Lena watched the night pass outside her window. Somewhere along the way, she realized she wasn't angry anymore. The betrayal was still sharp, yes, but it wasn't eating her. It wasn't choking her lungs like it had been weeks ago when she first saw the footage. That version of her, shaking, crying in silence, holding her knees on the bathroom floor, felt like another person entirely. Now she felt something else. Light. Maybe not healed, not yet. But free. They stopped at a 24-hour diner outside the city. Neither of them was really hungry, but they ordered fries and coffee and sat across from each other like two veterans after war. Tired, scraped up, but alive. Liam finally spoke. "You think they'll recover?" Lena sipped her coffee, eyes thoughtful. "Sophie always lands on her feet. She'll cry for a while. Then she'll find another guy to orbit around." He raised a brow. "And Daniel?" She smiled faintly. "He'll blame everyone but himself. Probably post some passive-aggressive story on Instagram about betrayal and fake people." Liam snorted. "Sounds right." They sat in companionable silence for a while longer. Then Liam leaned forward, more serious now. "Why didn't you tell me sooner? About them?" "I wasn't sure you'd believe me," she said honestly. "I thought, maybe I'd seem crazy. Or bitter. Or like I was trying to ruin things out of jealousy." He nodded slowly. "I get that. It's hard, seeing the truth when you don't want to." "I didn't want to believe it either," Lena added, her voice softer now. "Not at first. I kept thinking, maybe I was imagining things. Maybe I was being insecure. But deep down, I knew. I think I always knew." Liam didn't respond, but his eyes met hers across the table. There was no judgment in them. Just tired understanding. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For telling me. For showing me." She nodded. "Thank you for believing me." In the weeks that followed, life didn't snap back to normal. But Lena started building something better. She returned to her college classes with a new kind of focus. She got her internship back on track. She went to therapy, not because she was broken, but because she wanted to understand why she'd let herself be treated like a second choice for so long. She dyed her hair, started boxing lessons, picked up painting again. She found herself laughing more, real, belly-deep laughs that felt like exhaling after holding her breath for too long. Sophie's name vanished from most of their mutual circles. Daniel, embarrassingly, tried to reach out again. He sent a long email about how he missed what we had, and could we maybe talk? Lena didn't respond. She just archived it and poured herself a glass of wine. One day, she bumped into Sophie at a bookstore. It was unexpected. Sophie was alone, dressed down, hair in a messy bun, no makeup. She looked startled when she saw Lena, almost afraid. "Lena," she said, her voice tight. Lena raised a hand. "Don't." "I just wanted to." "I don't care," Lena interrupted, gently but firmly. "You made your choices. And I made mine." Sophie's eyes shimmered, either from guilt or embarrassment. Maybe both. Lena gave her a small smile. "I hope you grow from it. I really do." Then she walked away. Not victorious. Not bitter. Just whole. The final surprise came 6 months later. A package arrived at Lena's door, no return label. Inside was a velvet box. And in it? The diamond tennis bracelet. Her breath caught. There was a small note tucked inside. It was never hers. It was always meant for you. I hope someday you'll accept it, for you, not for me. Liam. She held the bracelet in her hands for a long time. Then she smiled. Not because she forgave Sophie. Not because she wanted Liam. But because she had finally, truly, forgiven herself, for trusting the wrong people, for doubting her instincts, for staying when she should have left. She slipped the bracelet onto her wrist. Not as a memory of him, but as a reminder of her own strength. She'd been broken, and she'd rebuilt herself. Brilliant, fierce, unshakable. And this time, no one would ever take that from her again.